He getting worship in the heavens by the angels. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He feed the birds of the heaven, he'll feed you. When you was broke, he paid your bills when they was overdue. I put my trust in God, y'all be believing you. I put my trust in God, cause he'll see you through. I trust in God cause he delivered me from addiction. I was sick in my sin, his love is my prescription. What kind of man forgive his killers at his crucifixion? So I had to die to myself, I guess it's the benediction. My trust in God remove me from the devil's jurisdiction. You say you trust him, but you're stressing, that's a contradiction. If faith's your gun, trust is your ammunition. Be a vicious of men is the greatest commission. You put the trust in tradition and have you out of position. With your trust in him, the solid bump the opposition.
Hey guys, it's your girl Latoya Renee, and you're tuning into Sisters Can We Talk. This show is an empowerment show that allows us to share each other's testimonies, to be able to build each other's faith, to believe in the impossible. I know sometimes God would take us through a difficult situation, but it's not to harm us, but it's to reveal the potential that He has placed within us. And so with that being said, I would like to welcome a very special guest, Sky Franklin, who is the owner and founder of Love Wear Apparel.
Oh, thank you so much, sis. Oh, it is such a joy to be here. Thank you for even inviting me.
Oh my God, I'm so excited that you're here. We're going to have such a good time.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Your testimony is amazing because out of a difficult situation in your life, you was able to birth something totally amazing. So tell us about your testimony, but start from the beginning.
Absolutely. It's so interesting. At my previous job,
Yes.
I sat on a board and we had to, we did things to help the morale of the company.
Yes.
Okay. So my department was I had to write a column, and it was called The Good News. Well, that's like a no-brainer. I can do that in my sleep.
Right.
People know, I'm happy, joy. So me writing the good news was like, no problem. Well, what happened is we started going maybe like 2 or 3 newsletters into it. Everything was wonderful.
Yeah.
And then the George Floyd situation took place. And you have to understand, civil rights is something very deep in my family, very deep, and it runs deep. So when I see any type of brutality, I don't care the race, any type of human brutality, it affects me in such a deep way. So I remember sitting in my living room crying for days. I could not stop crying at just seeing the world in such a turmoil, right?
In disarray.
Yeah, absolutely. And so during that time, it was time for a new newsletter, and I could not find anything good. I searched on the internet a couple of times, and there was nothing. I mean, there was no stories about puppies. There was no story about babies being born. I could not find anything. And that's when God said, you write it. You be the good news. And I said,
that someone needs to hear.
There you go. He said, so many times we look for these goodwill feelings in other things.
Yes.
But He's instilled His Spirit in us. We are goodwill all the time. He said, so write this newsletter and just remind people to be kind. Remind people just to show love. So I did that. The article was not condemning. It was not, you guys are mean. No, it was like, hey, let's do kind things. Like, remember to hold a door if you see somebody coming behind you. If somebody lets you over in traffic, just wave and say thank you.
Express your love.
Absolutely. That's all it was. And unfortunately, the young lady whose job was to put it in the newsletter, she sliced and diced my entire thing.
So she became the editor.
There you go. Which was not her job, right? The only thing her job was to do was to put it into the little template.
Right.
And so when I got it back and I saw that it was sliced up and it was crazy. And I asked her, I said, hi, can you tell me why my article was altered?
Right.
She said, I didn't alter it. Well, if it went from 400 words to 200 words,
something
took place. Yeah. And so, as the going says, if you make somebody uncomfortable, they rather just get rid of the problem instead of dealing with why they're uncomfortable, right? And so she was like, fine, I'll put everything back. So she put everything back, life went on, and I would say about a week later after that is when I lost my job.
So talk about that. You just got up one morning and
got a phone call and just said, hey, we appreciate everything that you've done for us, but today's your last day.
Now, do you think that had something directly to do with your article?
Yeah, of course, you have people who will begin to talk and call because it was so unexpected. Like, I've never been written up. I've never had a job performance. There was nothing that like literally nothing that can tie things into it.
Yeah.
And then little bit by little bit, we started finding out that there was some talk,
Yeah.
and it was, Sky was too vocal, she shouldn't have said anything, and she made people feel uncomfortable. Yeah. So an article that was really just to remind people just to be kind
And
show love,
Yeah.
because I wanted to do something just to bring this world back into a place of unity,
Yes.
And the article was literally just that, to say it doesn't matter what skin tone,
Yes.
Black, American, it doesn't matter. Just be kind.
Yeah.
And because that article made some of the powers that be feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
they decided to just get rid of the problem.
Which was according to them.
Yeah,
You.
exactly. So speed forward that day, I sat there and I said, okay, Daddy, what's next?
Yes.
And so when I tell you I had a peace that surpasses all
I was
understanding.
going to say that. You said
Right.
one of your first quotes was a peace that passes all understanding.
It literally was truly it surpassed understanding, because it wasn't like I was just banking. It wasn't like I was just had so much money in the bank.
Right.
No,
right.
It was like, okay, so what's next?
Yeah.
And my husband kept saying, baby, do you want to cry? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. He was like, you sure?
And he's looking at you like,
Exactly. He's hugging me, and I'm like, I'm good, babe. Like,
get off me. I'm
yeah,
right.
exactly. And so it was that day. No, I'm sorry. The next day when God told me to start Love Wear. And
Did you say something about how, I think it was your mother or a friend was like, you love fashion?
I love fashion. I love things that are different. I
Yes.
mean, I never look the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be blonde today, honey. I might be red tomorrow.
Let me tell you guys,
Honey.
when she came through the door, I was like, let's do this. I'm ready. I'm here for it. Look at you.
I love you. I do. I love everything that just looks fashionable.
Yeah.
I love things that are avant-garde. I love things that are fashion forward.
Yeah.
And so it's so funny because it's been a thing between me and God for now going on 7 years. Where it started out every time I had a bad situation, just a bad day, something that hurt my feelings
Right.
or whatever, God would show me a heart. And it would be in the most strangest places. Like, we're not talking about like just clouds,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
we know that you can see forms there. No, it'd be like a potato chip. Like, I'm eating some chips and I bring it out. I'm like, oh, that's
It's
a heart. Yeah. It would be, it just got through raining outside. And when I walked outside, the droplets went into a heart. And so it became this thing where it wasn't just when I had a bad day. It was like every day. I would be walking and God would say, look down, and there would be a heart, And so when this situation happened with the job, my mom was talking to me and she said, well, baby, you see hearts everywhere. Why don't you do something with that?
Yeah.
And I was like, She's like, you love fashion. She said, why don't you do something with love? And I was like,
Can I tell you something? Ain't it crazy how, because I'm like this, I can see so much potential in other people, but when it reflects back to me,
Right.
I'm totally clueless.
Right.
So your mom is like, look, you got all the ingredients. Right here. You love heart, you love fashion, and it was like the simplest thing. Why don't you just start a,
Right. She just saw it just like that. And I'm sitting like, huh?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, I love to buy other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know the first thing about this. And I kid you not, sis. God told me to do this in June. I did not release Love Wear Apparel into November.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, let's talk about that. Why?
So part of it, and you have to understand, I'm not a fearful person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. Like, there's really nothing that makes me feel uncomfortable but
Yeah.
lizards. Like, lizards in Florida, I mean, we don't get along. They don't like me, I don't like them.
Right,
But
right.
other than that, like, I can do anything.
Yeah.
But this was so ginormous. This was bigger than me.
I was gonna say bigger than yourself.
Yeah. And I spent months, praying about it. My stomach was doing flip-flops. There was times I just didn't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Like, I just put the covers over me, and my husband thought I was depressed.
Yeah.
I wasn't depressed. I didn't want to get up and face another computer. I'm watching webinars. And then finally God just said, do what I told you to do. Like, I was watching other manufacturers and I was seeing what other big names were doing and how did they do this and I did that. And he said, do what I told you to do.
You said a quote. You said, he told you, fear is not in you. Just move forward.
That's it. He was it was amazing. I am surrounded by some really amazing people.
Yeah.
And because I don't share a lot of my business except to my close friends, some of them didn't even know what I was going through. Some of them had no idea what I was even planning. And out of nowhere, I would get a text message. It says, I don't know what you got going on, but God is saying do it. And I would be looking at the phone like, what? put it down. I'm like, okay, God, I'm working on it. A couple of days later, a phone call. Sis, you've been in my heart, my spirit. What is going on with you? Because God is saying that you're supposed to be doing something and you're delaying it.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting a whipping.
Right,
okay.
right,
All right,
right.
Okay, Father. So then I would get up. I would start doing some more research, this and that, trying to find the right colors, trying to do this. And then...
So my question is, what was that hesitation?
The hesitation was fear.
Yeah.
I had never felt fear before.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say I had never felt it, everybody gets a little feel for when it's time to do something that's uncharted, right? But usually I'm able to just push past it. This was so unusual for me because I felt like a fish out of water. You have to understand, I went to school for marketing and business, and I also went to school for computers. So that's I'm a techie. Yeah. So it's like, so now you're telling me to come out of my world.
Come out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. Create something fresh. And then you start thinking, was anybody going to like it? Is anybody even going to want it?
Isn't that the craziest thing? Because I went through the same thing, even like with the show. Lord, you want me to do what now?
Right.
So there's so many people that other people can watch, and you want me to do what now?
Exactly.
So how did you push forward? How did you push past that fear, that anxiety?
It's one of those things where I tell people, do it scared. Like, don't allow fear to stop you from doing stuff. One thing that helped me is the Holy Ghost said, don't worry about the things that you don't know.
Come on.
He's the spirit of truth. He knows everything. So things that we don't know, he reveals to us. There will be times that literally I will be sitting up thinking about a new design, and the Holy Ghost will just drop something, and he'll say something right here, and he'll do, and then when you put it together, you're like, Daddy, you mad. Exactly. But it wasn't because I'm such an amazing. No. He taught me every single thing. He put people in my life. Now let's talk about finances. Yes. You got to have money to start up your own company.
Talk about it.
I had lost my job. Didn't have a lot of savings. Still had bills.
Yes.
God sent people to say, you know what? Here's $2,000 just to start up.
Come on, Jesus.
Yeah. And it's not a loan. This is a gift. And what God had to tell me, and I'm getting emotional about it, but one thing that I had to and I stay in a place of gratefulness, is that God told me, stop looking at other companies because I already have the people lined up who are going to support you. So when you start thinking, is anybody going to purchase this? Is anybody even going to want it? The very first month and a half, we did over $1,800 worth of sales. Sales were just coming in back to back. And we're not talking about just from your church members. Because, you think, your family will support you, your church will support you. No, the first time that we had to send something to California, my mind was blown. The first time we mailed something to New York, my mind was blown. The first time we did something to South Carolina, North Carolina, my mind was blown. And the whole time, I kept remembering what God said. Stop looking at other people. Do what I told you to do, because the people that are going to support you are already lined up.
Can I say this? It's funny how we, especially in this day of social media, we are always comparing ourselves. And I think that is one of the stumbling blocks that the devil, his minions, or whoever, what I'm saying, would like to put
all day.
And, you're looking at like, well, she's doing this and she's doing that. And the Lord said, no. Go back to what I told you to do. Exactly. And I find that when we don't do what God has for us to do, we walk in disobedience.
Yes. And here's the funny thing about that. One of my favorite scriptures says, the blessing, not the blessings, the blessing of the Lord brings me wealth without painful toil. And I had to learn that when I stopped toiling, when I stopped trying to make things happen, it was like God just would usher things. I mean, it would just be sales. I mean, I would be online. Oh, I got to post up this. I got to post up that. Okay, I got to do this. I got to do that. And it would be days that I would spend so much time in my works. Girl, I wouldn't get one sale. Not one sale. On days that I would literally say, Daddy, you handle it today. Stuff would just start. I mean, every time my phone chimed, it was a new sale. It was another sale. It was another sale.
But how many of us would try to do it ourselves and you get nowhere? But
nowhere.
But as soon as you take a nap, as soon as you rest.
That part.
The Lord said, I've been trying to get you to sit
down. Go to bed, girl. Go to bed. That is exactly right. I would be at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I would hear him say, and you're up for what? Like, what's happening with you? And I'm like, well, Daddy, I got to do this and I got to do that.
The kicker is, Sky, is like you finally get to a point where like, okay, you don't need my help.
That part. Like, you really are God by yourself? Okay. I'm just gonna
be over here.
Hey, I'm gonna go get some ice cream.
Just let me know where you need me to be.
Yeah,
at.
that part. And I literally had to take my hands off.
Yes.
Because my husband would tell you, it was that I wasn't sleeping. I was up all hours of the night, and then finally one day I was like, I think I'm tired. Like, I think I want to go to bed. And I just woke up to sales.
Yes.
I just woke up, and there were people online talking about Love Wear. There were people who had already purchased the garments, and they were saying how soft it is and how unique it is.
You know what I love about your apparel? It's different, but it's still girly. It's still like, okay, I love that. And it's something that you don't see. It's something that is not out there at all. You in a whole lane by yourself. And in fact, I think you was talking about how the Lord told you to stay
in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't. When you start looking at what somebody else is doing, you know, it's so funny because there's a couple of people who I enjoy looking at just how they promote their items. There's nothing wrong with learning, but you shouldn't make your identity somebody else. You got to stay in your lane. You know, I'm not a size 2. So if I'm looking at what somebody who's a size 2 is wearing,
you're gonna be totally off
that part.
Come on back, Sky.
Exactly.
You ain't supposed to be over there.
No, ma'am. And so it was that thing where, you know, God, what made this so special is that He told me that He wanted me to birth more love in the earth. That is, you know, in itself just amazing. You know, I mean, the fact that God would say, you know, I am love and I need you. I chose you to bring more love in the earth. And it's just by simple garments. All of our garments, and it's so funny that you talked about, you know, how girly they are because we have the feminine side and we also have our guys. You know? I love the fact that we serve both specs of the, you know, of the end of the rod there because guys like to look good too. You know, guys, you know, everybody, even my dudes who just want to be hard, you know.
Can I say this? Let me say this.
Yeah.
I love seeing you and your husband together.
Aw,
when I say you guys are a team, if there's nothing, like wherever Sky's at, there goes Anthony. It's like wherever Anthony at, there's goes Sky. He's taking pictures. He on the floor. He's doing his thing. And it's so amazing to see because healthy marriages in the Christian light is rarely seen. We always seeing, you know, infidelity and mayhem and all this other stuff, but you rarely see healthy Christian marriages. Just to see you guys, I'm like, okay.
And it absolutely can work. You know, it's one of those things, both me and my husband have alpha personalities. Normally that would be
a clash.
Recipe for disaster. With us, it just works because He doesn't try to do me, and I don't try to do him. And when you realize that God has given all of His children's gifts, He don't have to run me, and I don't have to run him. He just do us. You know? And it produces magic. You
when
know?
I say it does, because every time I look at you guys, I'm like, y'all doing it. Y'all are doing it, and you keep God centered.
Absolutely, you have to. He's the person that told us to do it, you know? So the fact that everything that I needed to start this was in my house, you know? My husband is my photographer, my videographer, you know? He is a guru when it comes to videos and marketing stuff, you know? I know clothes, I know what looks well, you know? And it's like the things that we are able to glean from each other. Like, I kid you not, one day he came downstairs and said, babe, I think you ought to try to do something with this. Boom. Created it, and all of a sudden now people are doing it. You know? There's times when I say, you know what, babe, you know, I think if you were to do this with your camera, you would get this look. And he's like, girl.
Gotcha, girl.
Exactly. So we have this yin and yang, and it just works. You know? So everything that God has done, it literally is just to remind people, just show love. And here's the thing, this is so funny about Love Wear. I look at it like, have you ever, as a saved person, been wearing a shirt that has something about Jesus on it, a cross, maybe some earrings, and that's the day somebody cuts you off in traffic? That's the day somebody calls you with some foolishness, and it's real hard for you to just snap back and clap back because you represent Jesus. You don't want to be a bad representative that day. So that's what he reminded me. He said, by having a shirt that just says the word love, it's it begins to instill that thought. You know what? Let me not clown today. You know.
Okay.
I can't really act a fool if I got some love. Exactly. Right. So whether you are rocking it from the front, whether you have the LEV, you know, on the back, it's a reminder. You know, you could act ugly, but don't.
Right.
You don't. When you could say something out your mouth that don't glorify God. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes.
Your day will be nicer if you're just kind.
Yes.
And that is the message. And I have a couple of my friends who are like, well, when my husband get on my last nerve, I'm going to take the t-shirt off. I'm like, don't, baby, don't take the clothes off. Keep the clothes on. And the argument will be lessened, you know? Yes. So that's where it
You know what I love, what you just said prior to that? You were saying that everything I needed was in my house.
Yes.
So many of us, we get a word from God. And then we try to, like, Lord, I don't have all of this. I don't have none of this. But God is saying that it's all in your house.
Yes.
It's everything that you need is in your house.
It's right.
You ain't got to go looking for it. You ain't got to wait on it.
No.
When He tells you to do something,
just do it.
Trust and believe in Him. Yeah. But it's in your house. What is that passion that you have that you've been dreaming about since you was a kid? Yes. It's in the house. Absolutely. What is that thing that you just can't stop thinking about? Yes. It's in the house. Yes. You don't have to be, you know, when people are like, well, I need a whole bunch of money. Hello, people will drop off cash to your house when you say yes to God and yes to His will. Just trust in Him and He will provide.
You know what? One thing that, and I will say that our pastors, Charles and Pastor Azalea, they are my senior pastors, and I love something that they say all the time, is that God is our Father, and He's not broke. He's not on child support. He knows how to take care of His children. So everything that God orders, He pays for. They say it all the time, and I'm a living witness. If God tells you to do something in the earth, He will pay for it. He never told us to struggle. He never told us to do. No, He just gave us a plan. It's kind of like when you think about the ark. This man ain't never built nothing. He ain't never. What is a hammer?
What is the?
What exactly? 2x4. I don't know. Measuring tape. What you talking about?
Right.
He gave him a plan and said, "This is what I want you to do." And then God started bringing resources. And next thing you know, now He has this
big
ark.
old big old boat,
big old boat, exactly. And that's how I look at things that God tells us to do. And I would just like to encourage anybody out there, if there's something that God has told you to do, you have to understand it's going to work. First of all, it's God. Okay, let's start.
Come on.
Let's start the basics. It's God. You know, if He is telling you to do something, it's because He already sees the success. He already sees your triumphant victory. And there's somebody out there, and I just heard it in my spirit, that said, well, Sky, I tried it and it didn't work. Just because it didn't work that one time doesn't mean that it wasn't going to work that second time. It doesn't mean that you can't learn from it. Just because God told you to do something and it didn't work the way you thought it should work doesn't mean that it still wasn't a success story. How many people were blessed by what you think is a failure?
Come on, Sky.
No, you know, I am a football girl. You have to say, like, my house doing football from August to February. Can a divided house stand? Okay? Can a divided house stand? I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out because during football season, it is crazy. But what I would, I love is that when the quarterback takes steps back to throw the ball, it's very risky because if you get sacked, now that means you've lost yardage, right? Now with the place where you were, it's gone, right? However, when a quarterback steps back, he's stepping back so he can get a different view, a different perspective. So even though he has pressure coming on him, it might be 300, 400 pound dudes coming at him, he steps back just so he can get a different perception, throw the ball, and now he's gained even more than what he just lost. Same thing as failures. Somebody who saw me lose my job thought that might have been a failure. God said, get a different perspective. So I took a step back only to throw a Hail Mary and get that touchdown. And that's what Love Wear is.
I want to talk about, because you guys have heard her say daddy countless times during this interview. And you're probably wondering, like I was wondering, who's she talking about, Jesus? She is talking about her Father in heaven. And I thought that was such an amazing insight of your relationship with your Father, because I was like, who's she talking about? You talking about the Father? Okay. I just love you guys' relationship because it tells you how much he loves you. It tells you how much that you care for him,
Yes.
to the point where he calls you his daughter,
Yes.
and you yell that you're my daddy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm a daddy's girl. You know, it's one of those things that when you have a relationship with
Yes.
somebody, you know, it surpasses religion.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like your earthly parents, you know. Your parents are not going to do everything that you want them to do.
Right.
There's times you're going to be disappointed or
Yes.
sad.
Yes.
Well, same thing with our Heavenly Father.
Yes.
I can talk to him when I feel like he let me down.
Yes.
Like if you praying for something, you decreeing it, child, you
Yes.
baby, you do a naming and claiming it. And when it don't manifest, you're like, well, Daddy, what happened?
Right.
Like, what's going on?
Right.
And with that relationship, he talks back to you.
Yes.
And he'll tell you, just trust me. You know, when you can't see everything, know that I got you.
Yes.
That's relationship.
Yes.
I remember sitting in my car, and he told me, he said, when you don't know the how is when I step in.
Hold on, I think that was my last quote, girl. Look, she said, when you don't know how, that's when he shows up.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes we ain't supposed to know the how, the when, the who, how you gonna get
Exactly.
there. Because you know why? We're gonna mess it up.
That part. Let me tell you, when we had to do our first photo session, right? So I have all these garments, I have the men. And first of all, you have to understand Love Wear. Love Wear is so unique because we are not a t-shirt company.
Yes.
We are a garment company. We
Yes.
have some of the finest fabrics that you will ever find
Yes.
that are affordable.
Yes.
You know, I always tell people it's like leveling up your casual wear,
Yes.
you know? Because our garments, you can dress up, you can dress down. The fellas are so swagged out, you know? And, you know, I always get excited when I see a guy come through, because don't get me wrong, I love my females.
Yes.
I mean, we shop all day
Yes.
long, right?
Yes.
But when a fella does it, you know, it's kind of like that thing where they're like, okay, I'm going to try this out,
Yeah.
you know? And then every report is, Sky, yo, I was slipping on you, you know, man, what's happening? You know, they return customers. They're like, I got to get some more. I got to get this.
Right.
And I love that because I tell them all the time, if you try it one time, you'll be hooked. You know, I wanted fabrics that lay well, no matter what body
Yes.
shape, you know? I have some guys whose physique is everything.
Yes.
And I have some that are desired,
Yes.
you know? And it doesn't matter because the cuts of all of our garments, we took months
Yes.
on ordering things to feel the fabrics, to see how they're going to wear,
Right.
you know how. And so everything that is in Love Wear, I kid you not, it is been tried and true.
I was going to say that it was made out of purity love because
Absolutely.
this is your baby.
Yeah, we're not going to throw junk to anybody. I want when somebody wears, you know, a Love Wear garment, whether male or female, I want it to be your go-to
Yes.
item. Not only because you're spreading the message of
Yes.
love, but because you look good and
I was
feel
going
good
to say
in
you
it.
feel good.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I have women who are in their 70s saying, you know, baby, I got that hoodie, and honey, I wear it all the time. I love that. You know, when I see guys buying something like, yo, me and my woman, you know, we're going to do something, you know, because I have garments that are unisex, you
Yes.
know. Most of our garments, except for the ones that are strictly for the ladies,
Yes.
and it says ladies on it, most of our garments are unisex.
Yes.
So you can rock it with your boo, you know.
Yes.
You guys can twin it up, you
Yes.
know. I have siblings who want to get like every color of return. So whatever it is, siblings, whether your boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, we wanted it to be an expression of love for whoever.
Can I say that you guys are doing it?
Thank you.
When I say every time I see you guys, just to know that you started from where you started from and you took a leap of faith
Yes.
and look at you now.
Thank you.
And that says something to you guys. If God is telling you to do something, let this be an example. Let this be an example that it's something on the other side. He's telling you to do it for a reason. And it's not for you to be, you know, it's for your success.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter where you're starting from, you know, whether you are a divorced person, whether you feel like everything was taken from you, maybe you are a mother that's empty nesting, your kids are gone, and you're sitting there with this broken spirit feeling like you don't have anything to give or you don't know where to start. Pick up the pen is what I'm hearing God say. Just pick up the pen. Begin to write the vision. Begin to write out those things that you want.
Yes.
And God will bring it to pass.
Yes.
You know, and that's the relationship that we have with Dad. I mean, he's Abba. He's our dad.
Yes.
So if we are truly his children, then there's nothing I can't talk to my dad about.
Yes.
And here's the thing. When I'm going through the process, I can tell my dad, Daddy, I don't feel good about this.
Yes.
I'm kind of nervous.
Yes.
He will bring me strength. He will give me something to gleam upon that will move fear out of the way.
Yes.
Sometimes he will tell me to do the work.
Yes.
Sometimes he will tell me to open up your mouth.
Ye-
You know how to pray. You know how to bind Satan.
Yes.
You know how to cast him out.
Yes.
So there are times when Daddy treats me like, you know, a princess, and there's other times when daddy be like, do the work, girl.
Right, come on.
Exactly.
I'll put that in you. You know what to do.
Stop crying. Get on up. Wipe them tears. Let's go to work.
Yes.
And every time, you know, that I just follow his leading, he blesses. And at the end of the day, that's the only thing that I want, my success to be in him. Because as long as my success comes through him, not only does it keep me humble, but I know that I'm achieving the job that I was meant to do.
Yes.
And so if my job was to bring more joy in the earth, more love in the earth, more, you know, symbolic symbols that say, you know what, I can have a good day.
Yes.
I can press forward
Yes.
because God is love. I'm rocking love. He's got to be with me, you know? If you start thinking like that, your situation becomes bleak, from being bleak to being a blessing.
Yes.
You know?
From being bleak to being a blessing. I love it.
And that's the way that we have to, I think that's the whole thing, sis. We have to see our situations different. We got to be that quarterback. We got to step back every once in a while just to get a different perception.
Yes.
And if you know that God is going to be your coach, if you know that he's the one in that microphone telling you what to do, just work the playbook.
Yes.
He gives us the playbook. All his scriptures is like a playbook. He
Yes.
tells us exactly
What
things
to
to
do.
do.
Right.
What to think on, what to do. And when you do it that way, the pressure comes off of you. And I've told him that. Because again, it's a relationship.
Yes.
It's not religion. I've told him, look here, Daddy. You know, my success is on you, player. It ain't on me. You know.
Right.
I'm not gonna feel this pressure.
Yes.
If I'm successful, it's gonna be because of you.
Right.
And it's like when I talk to my dad like that, he's like, I got you. Watch what I do. Bling, 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 bling. 10 sales come in. I'm like, okay, Daddy, you just show it out.
Okay. You do you. Okay.
Exactly. Trust God. And I know it's hard. I lost my job. Trust God anyway. He has, it's now been, almost a year?
Yes.
I have never missed a meal. I have never had an eviction notice.
Yes.
I have never had a red letter come, a past due. Everything that I have needed, God has taken care of. And I was still able to pay my tithes.
Come on.
I was still able to take care of the things that honors him.
Yes.
You know, as God begins to elevate, don't slip.
I was going to say
Don't
that.
slip.
Don't you do that. Yeah.
Take care of him. On days when things were tight and I didn't think, Lord, do I really need to give you this 10%? Why don't we go through, first of all, why don't we go through 10% when he gives us the 90?
Yes,
He's telling you,
yes.
sugar, the 90 is yours. Just give me this 10. And I'd be like, oh, Lord. I don't know if I can let go of this $30, Jesus. Like, really? He gave you $300.
Right.
So it's like, when you stop and say, you know what? I'm just going to trust you, God. I'm just going to do what you tell me to do. I'm just going to walk this thing out. I'm going to get out the boat.
You know what? This year, I'm going to say a scripture that has been, this year is my favorite scripture. Seek the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and everything will be added unto you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Because
ma'am.
sometimes we look at, well, Lord, they doing, no.
No.
Seek the kingdom.
Right. And here's the thing. You really don't know nobody's story. Anybody can look good on social media. Let's just put it out there. Anybody can have 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, viewers. And it was a millionaire that I was watching. I was watching some of her webinars, if you will. She said the very first thing that you need to start thinking is that your products are $1 million products. That's the first thing. Because if you think like a millionaire, you'll act like a millionaire.
Yes.
She said there are people who are making millions who don't have halfway near the followers that somebody else does.
Right.
Because followers don't always equate to dollars. Followers do not always equate to dollars. So you want to build things, of course, and you want your brand to be known.
Yes.
But somebody with $10,000 might make a sale once a month.
Right.
Somebody who only has 20 followers, well, if you got 20 faithful followers, you got 20 sales, and then they're going to tell their family.
Yes.
And then their family going to tell this.
Yes.
And then before you know it, you got 500 orders, and you're looking like, but I only had 20 followers.
Come on, G. That's a God thing.
That's a God thing. So put yourself in a millionaire status. A millionaire don't fret.
Yes.
A millionaire is not worried. Honey, a millionaire ain't sitting there worried about how he gonna pay J.E.A.
Okay.
So if you know that God is giving you $1 million idea, just walk it out.
If God's giving you an idea, just believe that.
Yes.
First of all, it's His.
Yes.
And God don't like to fail. He don't fail. Hello.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
He's not the God of subtraction. He didn't make the sun, the moon, and then say, you know what, I don't like that. Let me start over.
Let's do that over.
Let's do that. No! Every day he added something new.
Yes.
And that's how I live my life. Every day I wake up expecting a miracle. Every day I expect a blessing. Every day I expect something good to happen, and I decree it.
Yes.
That's his will for
Yes.
us. And I know there's somebody saying, you know, oh, she can't be that happy all the time. I am. I'm just a happy person, and I just believe what my dad says.
Yes.
So if he tells me that the desires of the righteous are granted, cool. Then I desire to be blessed today. Okay, cool. I got you, sis. Everything. And it can be something small.
Yes.
You know, literally, it can be the smallest thing up to the biggest thing.
Yes.
God just wows me on a daily basis because that's where my faith is.
Yes.
And when things get tough, and there's going to be some tough times because no matter the blessing, you're going to have a real
Right.
devil. There's a real devil. There's real demons out there. And when things get to the point to where it feels like it's closing in on me, you just quiet the earth. You just quiet everything around you and begin to ponder on those things that he told you to think about.
Yes.
Whatsoever things are good.
Yes.
Whatsoever things are lovely.
Yes.
Whatsoever things are of a good report. These are the things you think of. You don't think of what's bad. You don't think about how your failures. No. Think of those things that are good because it will elevate you.
Yes.
If you want to know how to be happy, change your mind.
Change your mindset.
Change your mindset.
Sky, well, you are amazing. And so,
you.
guys, we have a treat for you. We're going to go ahead and show you Love Wear's apparel. Yes. So we're all back, and like I said, I got a special treat for you guys. I want to show you her baby, Love Wear Apparel. So go ahead and take it over and explain to us your clothing line.
Absolutely. I brought two examples today. One is our ultra soft fleece cropped sweatshirt.
And it is soft.
You know, and this is not the sweatshirt that you want to go work out on. This is one that just feels like butter against the skin. You know, the inside I love that normally when you think fleece, you think it's going to be bulky or whatever. No, this is so soft. It's just going to kind of lay on your skin. It's just going to complement. Matter of fact, you can touch it yourself, sis, and see how it feels, the quality of it.
So soft, guys. Oh my goodness. Now my question is, how did you get it to be so soft? Like, did you have to a trial period or?
You know what? They call it heirloom, you know, and ring spun cotton. So it's just a different manufacturer.
Yes.
It's just a different way to actually create it so that you have that ultra soft feeling.
Yes.
You know? It's very light. It's thick enough to take care of you during those winter months.
I was going to say,
light
but
enough.
you would not have to think that it would be that soft.
Exactly. And
Yes.
that's what I love about it. Because here in Florida, you know, our weather's bipolar, you know. You wake up and it's 80, you might go to bed and it might be 50,
Yes.
you know. So this is something that not only can our Floridians rock all the time, but also for our northern people.
Yes.
You know, we have a lot of clients and customers that are up in those western areas where they're still getting like negative 20,
Yes.
you know. So this right here is going to be that cropped sweatshirt for them. And then also, I brought one of our unisex garments.
Yes.
Because like I told you earlier, we have a men as well as women's fashion.
I love this
And-
color because one of my favorite colors, as you guys can
I
tell.
see. That was nobody but God. Yeah, you told me to bring this one. I love it. This one right here, it looks so good. I love this particular
And it's
yellow.
also-
Very soft.
Yes.
Everything that we do. When I tell you, I handpicked each and every garment. So when you get something from us, you're not gonna have to worry about it being
How it feels.
scratchy.
Yes.
No, it's gonna be. I kid you not. Our garments, you almost forget that you're wearing clothes. That's the best way I can describe it because you know you're in them all day long.
Yes.
You're like, have I really been rocking this for 12 hours?
Yeah.
You know, it's that comfortable. And so this right here is our double bar. We have it in multiple colors. And again, a lot of our items are unisex. This is just for the ladies. The cropped items, and we have cropped hoodies and things of that nature. That's for the ladies. So, you know, Ricky, my man back there, he can't wear the cropped sweatshirt. If I see him wearing it, we're going to have a different conversation, you know. But, you know, other than that, ladies, the cropped items are just for you. But for the men, you can go ahead and do any of our garments, any of our tops, because for the most part, all of them are unisex. So you can rock it with your boo. They come in variations of color. And there's so many different styles. We have the jigsaw, you know.
Yes.
We have the love ×2. So everything about us you're going to see is going to have
you
that.
have a new line.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So what I'm wearing today is called the Skittles.
Yes.
You know, as you can see. And it was just one of those things where it's kind of like we're going into spring and I just wanted to just burst out with joy. You know, burst out with love. And here's the thing about women. If you give us a shirt with 12 colors in it, we're going to be able to pair it with anything, right? So, and that's another thing that I love about Love Wear is that all of our colors are just bright and vivid. So your pairing options are going going to be endless, you know? So today I'm rocking it with this skirt, but hey, the Skittles, I might rock it with some pants. I can rock it with jeans, you know? With some heels on, exactly.
Or with some sneakers.
With some sneakers. Don't play. Y'all don't understand, you know? So it's so many things that you can do with our garments to pair it with anything. And so this particular one is the newest one, and it is going to be available on April 4th.
Yes. Now tell them how they can go ahead and purchase your item.
Absolutely. You can head over to www.lovewearapparel, all one word, lovewearapparel.com. And you know what? It's one of the easiest things, you know, just watching how people shop is so funny. And so I watched a few people go to the website, and so some of them just stroll straight to the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, at the bottom we have different collections, you know, so you can look at all of the collections, or on your, I believe on your right or on your left side, you'll see little bars, and that will take you directly to the men or the women. We have featured items. So however you want to rock it, go straight to the bottom or you go through each tab, but you'll be able to see all of our garments right there.
Awesome, awesome. Once again, it has been an honor just to have you on the show, just for you to allow us to hear your testimony of how this became, because this, when I say you guys, this is amazing, and how God is just doing such an amazing thing in your life, and you're such an inspiration for those out there who are trying to do something, but fear is kind of just overtaking them.
Yes.
So just to know that there was fear, you had hesitation, but look at you now. And so I just thank you so much. And in fact, I just want to hug
you. Thank you, sis. Thank you for having me.
Guys, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, remember to love, pray, and be that beacon of light for the world to see. Yes. Bye.
He getting worship in the heavens by the angels. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He feed the birds of the heaven, he'll feed you. When you was broke, he paid your bills when they was overdue. I put my trust in God, y'all be believing you. I put my trust in God, cause he'll see it through. I trust in God cause he delivered me from addiction. I was sick in my sin, his love is my prescription. What kind of man forgive us killers at his crucifixion? So I had to doubt on myself, I guess it's the benediction. My trust in God remove me from the devil's jurisdiction. You say you trust him, but you're stressing, that's a contradiction. If faith's your gun, trust is your ammunition. Be a vicious of men is the greatest commission.